Join us from Statuary Hall, Congressman Jim Jordan. He's a Republican from Ohio. He's on the Judiciary Committee. He's on the Oversight Committee. He joins us live. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. Good to be with y'all.
Okay, so Hunter Biden says this whole thing about him and, these corporate boards and, Ukraine and China, things like that, that's all a ridiculous conspiracy theory.
Well, I think two things stuck out. The first is it sounds like he's just upset that he got caught in this ridiculous arrangement. And then second, he said that something about when his dad becomes president. I don't think that's going to happen. But look, the American people knew right from the get-go this was wrong. The American people understand fairness. They instinctively get this wasn't fair, this wasn't proper, this wasn't right. And I think it was pretty obvious. He just said now kind of what the American people already understood when this story first broke.
Yeah, Peter Schweitzer even wrote an editorial last week. Did Hunter do anything illegal? No. And that's the problem, because you can trade on your name, and that's maybe something that's got to be woven in. I remember having lunch with a senator, and he said, and I could not even offer, even though he came to New York, I could not pay for his lunch.
Right.
And you have to have the lunch standing up, or else it's not official. And you have all these rules. But if you want to use the last name of somebody prominent to get on a board to make $1 billion, you can. But the one problem they have is, according to this interview, he says he never spoke to his dad about it. But according to the New Yorker article, he said, as Hunter recalled, his father discussed Burisma with him once. Dad said, I hope you know what you're doing, and I said, I do. So if he's going to hedge on that, what else might he be hedging on? Where is he telling the truth?
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't know. We just know that this stuff smells. I mean, the whole arrangement with China, the $1 billion from a subsidiary bank of the Bank of China, this arrangement with Burisma, this company in the Ukraine, where Hunter Biden had no experience, didn't know the language, no experience in the energy sector, and not an expert on Ukraine, gets this position. I think the American people, again, they saw this for what it is. They know it smells. They know it's wrong, and that's the fact. So, look, let's deal with the issues that the American people care about now. Let's work on prescription drug prices. Let's get this USMCA passed. Let's make sure we can do those. Yeah, right. It's going to be tough because they're so focused on attacking the president. That's all they want to do in this unfair process that they've begun.
Okay, we have another clip from that interview that Amy Robach had with Hunter Biden. Listen to this.
Your last name wasn't Biden. Do you think you would have been asked to be on the board of Burisma?
I don't know. Probably not. But that's, I don't think that there's a lot of things that would have happened in my life that if my last name wasn't Biden.
Congressman?
Probably not. Definitely not. Again, this is so obvious. Look, I guess he wanted to do the interview to talk about it, but again, I think everyone understood what took place here. We understood it as soon as we saw the fact that with no experience, he was getting paid $50,000 a month. I've said before, I have constituents, I get the privilege of serving in the 4th District of Ohio who don't make that in a year. So everyone got this. Everyone knows it's wrong. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Well put. Congressman, let's talk a little bit about the impeachment inquiry, now day 2 of week 4. Because so much of it is behind closed doors, we really don't have a very good idea on what's going on because it's supposed to be secret. I know Matt Gaetz tried to go to one hearing yesterday, but they threw him out because he wasn't a member of that committee. What's going on?
Steve, this is ridiculous. This unfair and partisan process. I mean, think about what they're trying to do. 13 months before an election, they're trying to impeach the President of the United States, the leader of the free world, based on an anonymous whistleblower with no firsthand knowledge who has a bias against the President. It's now been reported that the whistleblower worked with Joe Biden. And the day after the call, the whistleblower actually writes this long memo, and he uses words like frightening and scary, that this call was crazy. And then, guess what? He waits 18 days to file the complaint with the Inspector General. And who's the first person he runs off and sees in that 18-day interim? He runs off and sees Adam Schiff's staff. Adam Schiff, the guy who didn't tell us that he met with the whistleblower before the complaint was even filed. Adam Schiff, who is running this secret proceeding behind closed doors where the president gets no rights and the minority doesn't get subpoena power like Adam Schiff has. This is the most ridiculous, unfair, wrong process. And again, I think the American people see it for what it is.
Right.
Just an all-out attack on the president in an unfair and partisan fashion.
So a couple of things are happening because things leak out from behind closed doors. Early on, the first two witnesses seems to bolster the president's case. The last two don't. Fiona Hill and the ambassador to Ukraine. Obviously, if you get removed, you're not really going to sing the president's praises. And then Fiona Hill seems to back up the ambassador. So to say that essentially Rudy Giuliani was running an investigation, they were not comfortable with it. The question is, if this storyline continues, and it looks like it will, where does this all go?
I mean, who knows? I think the Democrats, they want to move full steam with impeachment, which is, again, I don't think the American people see it. The American people know it's not warranted, it's not fair, it's not the right direction to head at all. What frustrates me is the only interview that we're allowed to talk about in any shape or form is the very first one that Kurt Volker did under the transcribed interview rules. Every other interview that's happened has been done under a subpoena and deposition rules, and yet the New York Times has this long piece today allegedly talking about things that took place in that room. So the Democrats are out talking to everybody. Again, they're making the rules up as they go along, but they're not even following their own rules. They don't even follow the rules they put in place. So it's secret if it's in any way going to be helpful to the president, and it looks like anything they want to leak, they're leaking, which is, again, I think just underscores how partisan and unfair this process is. But never forget, Speaker Pelosi said she wants to, quote, strike while the iron's hot. She wants to go after this president, and she doesn't want to do it in any type of fair fashion, any type of fair format.
How does this play out when it comes to the election?
Well, I mean, we'll have to see, but I think the American people, the folks I get the privilege of representing, they see right through it. They're ticked. Right. They're mad. They're fed up with the attacks that the Democrats in this town have levied against the president since day one. And remember, it was even before he was president. This all started July 31st, 2016, when Jim Comey opened an investigation into President Trump based on this false accusation that he had somehow coordinated with Russia. Right. And it's been going ever since then. And the American people are sick of it. Right. They know it's wrong, and they support the president.
And real quick, Congressman, are you saying there's no USMCA that's going to be voted on and there's no prescription drugs? Or are you still hopeful?
I'm hopeful, but look, Nancy Pelosi has shown no indication of wanting to do what's best for the country. Right. All she is focused on, and certainly Adam Schiff, all he's focused on is attacking this president, and that's what drives the American people crazy.
It does indeed. All right, Jim Jordan from Ohio, sir, thank you very much for joining us live.
You bet. Thank you.